Hello, what is up, people? Welcome back, or welcome for the first time to a new video. And as you can see, we are drawing a portrait. This is actually the first portrait I've drawn in about 2 years, and it's of Nick Tangorra, singer-songwriter, and a friend of a friend. So when I'm done with this, I'll be able to give it to him. And what he does with it, I don't know. That's up to him. So this video is just going to be the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. This also isn't a full-on tutorial because it's a time lapse. So I'll just pop in every now and again and give some pointers or some tips on what I think helps me. And as you saw in the beginning, I don't even start with a pencil. I start right away with a shading stump because I usually like to get down just a base layer and like a very light shade, and then I just work up from there. And then I'll add pencil marks if I have to for extra detail, like around the eyelids or the pupil or some creases by the eyelids. And then other than that, I'm mostly working only with the stumps. And if I need to get a darker shade, I will come back in and I'll just lightly shade over where I previously shaded just to darken it up, and then I'll hit it again with the stump until it gets to be as dark as I need it to be. Alright, so we made some progress on the first eye, and it looks pretty good. And I'm just going to come in again with that stump and just hit that whole right side just to give it some sort of base, and that's not what it's going to look like at the end. And I know it looks a little blotchy, but we're going to fix that later because that's the darker side of his face with the most shadow, so we're going to be able to go over it later and really darken it up. And you can see on the eye it's also really dark, so I basically just use a 6B and really try to get those darks as dark as possible, because that's really what's going to make your drawing look realistic, and it's really going to make features pop. And the only place that you want hard lines are going to be anywhere where it's like a really defined crease. So where the lips meet, where the nostrils are, and around the eyes, and of course the eyebrows and the hair and eyelashes. And that's, well, for me, those are the only times that I'll make defined lines. Everything else will be some sort of blending, and that'll give you a really nice, smooth looking skin. So now I'm going to start working on the nose a little bit more. And as I said before, just using that stump, just working in some tones. And then here's an example of me going back over it with a pencil really lightly so you don't see any of the marks. And then I'll blend it in again to make it as smooth as possible. And when you're drawing noses, don't make hard lines on the sides of the nose. For the love of God, it just doesn't look good, and it's really bad. So don't do it. Just do what I'm doing. Shade it a little bit. Nice shading around the sides there, and give it some depth. And you'll get a pretty good looking nose that looks realistic and not like a cartoon drawing. And I'm not done with the nose or any of these features. I'll continue to go back as I progress through the drawing, and I'll add other smaller details to make it more realistic looking. But this is really just a good base to put down to kind of propel yourself to the next stage of the drawing. So we're down working on the mouth now. Really simple stuff, doing nothing crazy. Just trying to get some minor details down so we can work around it. And then at the end, when I'm done like completely with the drawing, I'll add highlights and more darker details. So really just hit it with the shading stump and then just darken up some spots with a pencil and then darken up where the lips meet. But I didn't really do that, but I will later on, like I said. And that's really all I'm going to do for right now. It's coming along pretty well. So hopefully it continues to go well. And that's what it looks like as of right now. And in the next part, we will continue onwards.